She can let you kiss her lips, feel her body against yours, even spend a night tangled in your sheets. And yet, when she walks away, you may still be nothing but a shadow in her memory. That's the cruel truth most men ignore. They believe that intimacy guarantees desire, that closeness guarantees obsession, that sex is the ultimate prize. But obsession is not born from the body. Obsession is born from the mind, from what you ignite, not from what you give. Most men live their entire lives without realizing this. They think women will fall head over heels if they just provide enough attention, enough security, enough stability. They think a woman will lose her breath if they sacrifice themselves, if they prove they're loyal, if they never say no. But the reality is simple. The more predictable you are, the less she desires you. The more available you are, the less she values you. And the more certain she feels of you, the less she thinks about you when you're gone. Because desire is not rational. Desire is not logical. Desire is animal, chaotic, unpredictable. It thrives on uncertainty. It feeds on tension. It comes alive when a woman feels the pull of something she cannot completely understand, cannot fully own, cannot ever fully control. That is when she starts to think of you, when she closes her eyes. That is when she starts to replay your words in her head at night. That is when she starts to crave you, not out of choice, but out of compulsion. This is why the good man is forgotten. The one who is always there, who never lets her doubt, who answers every call, every text, every need. He becomes invisible, a piece of furniture in her life. Safe? Yes. Useful? Maybe. But unforgettable? Never. And this is also why the man who unsettles her, who is calm but unpredictable, warm but distant, attentive yet detached, lives rent-free in her mind long after he is gone. She cannot put him in a box. She cannot pin him down. She cannot explain why her body reacts when she thinks of him. And that inability to explain is exactly what keeps her coming back. Understand this clearly. Women do not obsess over what they can control. They obsess over what they cannot. When you make yourself predictable, you give her control. She already knows you'll reply. She already knows you'll wait. She already knows you'll forgive. There is no mystery, no tension, no spark. But when you become a man who does not chase, who does not need, who does not live for her approval, everything changes. Suddenly you are not one of many. Suddenly you are rare. Suddenly she feels the weight of your absence as much as your presence. Think of how the mind works. What lingers longer? The question that has been answered, or the one that remains open? What do you remember more? The book that gave you every conclusion, or the one that left you thinking after the final page? It is the same with women. Certainty closes the loop. Mystery leaves it open. And the open loop keeps her awake at night, wondering, imagining, feeling. That is where obsession begins. But here is where most men destroy themselves. They panic in the silence. They cannot bear to leave a message unanswered, a moment unfilled, a glance unexplained. They rush to fill the gaps with words, gifts, validation. They chase because they are terrified of losing her. And in doing so, they lose the only thing that could have made her desire them: tension. A woman cannot obsess over you if you are always trying to convince her to. You must rewire your mind. You are not there to audition. You are not there to prove. You are not there to beg for entry into her world. You are the world. You are the center. You are the one who chooses, the one who evaluates, the one who decides who earns the right to your attention. When she feels this, when she feels that your validation is rare and your approval is expensive, she shifts. She invests. She begins to wonder, what does he see in me? What does he want from me? What happens if I lose his attention? That wondering is not weakness in her. It is the spark of obsession. Your energy is your weapon. Not the things you buy, not the words you spill, not the effort you force, your energy. The way you enter a room without needing to be noticed. The way you speak slowly, with weight, as if every word matters. The way your silence stretches, making her wonder what you are thinking. The way your eyes lock onto hers without flinching, then drift away slowly, leaving her imagination burning. All of it communicates one truth. You are a man who does not beg. You are a man who does not chase. You are a man who can walk away at any moment, and that possibility alone makes her pulse quicken. A woman does not crave the man who explains himself endlessly. She craves the man she cannot fully read. She does not crave the man who texts her 10 times a day. She craves the man who texts once with a line that echoes in her mind for hours. She does not crave the man who follows her around like a shadow. She craves the man who disappears just long enough to make her feel his absence, then reappears with the same unshaken calm. But you cannot fake this. You cannot pretend to be detached while secretly desperate. She will feel it. She will smell it. Women are wired to sense weakness, and the moment she feels that your calm is a mask for insecurity, her desire evaporates. This is why you must first build yourself. You must create a life filled with purpose, discipline, and direction, a life where she is an addition, not the center. A life so full that losing her does not empty you. When you live this way, every pause you make carries weight, every silence becomes tension, every look becomes fire. When you master this, you will notice a shift. You no longer compete with other men. You no longer chase, explain, or prove. She will find herself thinking of you without reason. She will replay your words, your silences in her mind until it drives her restless. She will begin to invest more, to chase more, to seduce you, not because you begged for it, but because you became the rarest thing in her world, a man who cannot be controlled. That is how obsession begins. That is how it grows. Not in what you give, but in what you withhold. Not in what you explain, but in what you leave unsaid. Not in what you chase, but in what you allow her to chase in you. And once you understand this, you will never again waste your energy trying to convince a woman to want you. She will want you without understanding why. And that confusion, that hunger, that mystery, that is the essence of obsession.
She will never tell you this openly, but what she truly craves is not your affection. What she craves is tension. The tension of your silence when she expected words. The tension of your eyes locking onto hers and then breaking away with a smile she cannot interpret. The tension of not knowing if you will call tonight or let her wonder until tomorrow. That tension is what ignites her imagination, and her imagination is what enslaves her thoughts. Think about it. Desire has never been logical. If it were, women would only crave the safe men, the stable men, the predictable men. But how many times have you seen her choose otherwise? How many times have you seen her obsess over the man who gave her nothing certain, the man who was half present, the man who carried himself with an indifference she couldn't break? It wasn't his cruelty she craved. It was the storm of emotion he stirred inside her. And this is what most men will never learn. You do not need to mistreat her to awaken that obsession. You only need to master the art of contrast. The contrast between your presence and your absence, between your words and your silences, between your warmth and your distance. Contrast is the lifeblood of desire, and only men who dare to hold it without collapsing into neediness ever become unforgettable. When you text her too much, when you explain yourself too quickly, when you give her every part of you without pause, you flatten that contrast. You make yourself predictable. You turn yourself into a known quantity, and nothing known is ever desired. Desire belongs to the unknown, to the unanswered, to the unfinished. That is why suggestion is more powerful than confession. That is why silence can be louder than words. That is why restraint is more erotic than indulgence. Imagine this. You look at her not as the nice boy begging for approval, but as the man who desires without needing. Your eyes are steady. They linger on hers just a little longer than comfort allows. She feels the weight of your gaze, the heat behind it, and just when she begins to lose herself in it, you look away, slowly, calmly, with the faintest smile she cannot interpret. You've said nothing, you've touched nothing, but in that moment you've planted a seed in her imagination that will grow all night. She will replay it. She will ask herself, what did he see? What did he mean? And those questions will burn hotter than any words you could have spoken. The mistake men make is fearing silence. They rush to fill the space with validation, with nervous chatter, with predictable compliments. But silence is not emptiness when you stand strong in it. Silence is tension. Silence is presence. Silence is the space where she begins to feel you without you lifting a finger. And when she feels you in that way, her body reacts, her mind reacts, she begins to crave the energy you carry. But you must understand this is not about playing games. This is about embodying strength. If your silence comes from insecurity, she will feel weakness. If your pauses come from fear, she will sense desperation. The foundation of obsession is not manipulation. It is your unshakable center. A man who knows himself, who does not need her to validate his worth, who carries himself with calm authority, that man can use silence like fire. That man can use a glance like a weapon. That man can turn absence into presence. So ask yourself, do you chase because you fear losing her? Do you explain yourself because you're afraid she might misunderstand? Do you offer constant validation because you want her to reassure you in return? Every one of those habits kills tension. Every one of them feeds her certainty. And certainty is the death of desire. The men who become unforgettable are the ones who live differently. They do not give their attention cheaply. They do not make themselves available without thought. They do not seek to prove themselves. They live as though their time is precious, their attention is earned, and their life is already full without her. And when a woman feels that, she begins to chase. She begins to invest. She begins to fight for a place in your world. This is the paradox. The less you chase, the more she craves. The less you prove, the more she seeks your approval. The less you give certainty, the more she clings to every gesture, every look, every word. You don't need to be cruel. You don't need to be arrogant. You only need to stop collapsing into the role of the predictable man. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Let her earn your time. And when you do give her a piece of yourself, let it carry weight. Speak slower. Touch with intention. Leave space for her imagination to expand. When she cannot predict you, she cannot control you. And what she cannot control is what she cannot stop desiring. Never forget, women are surrounded by men who chase. Every day they receive validation. Every day they receive compliments. Every day they meet men who give their energy away without thought. That attention means nothing to them. But your silence, your restraint, your mystery, that is rare. That is addictive. That is what separates you from the masses. And this is where obsession truly begins, when she cannot explain you, when she cannot predict you, when she feels your presence even in your absence, when every glance, every silence, every shift in your energy becomes a puzzle she cannot solve. The human mind is addicted to solving puzzles, and when the puzzle is you, she will never put it down. Remember this, certainty is death, tension is life, and the man who dares to hold the tension without collapsing into comfort is the man she will never forget. The man who does not chase her is the man she will chase in her own mind, over and over, until desire consumes her.
A woman can resist your gifts. She can resist your attention. She can even resist your body. But what she cannot resist is the feeling of being pulled into your gravity without understanding why. That is the essence of obsession, and it only comes from a man who knows how to command himself first. Because if you do not master yourself, you will never master her desire. Look at the men she forgets. They orbit around her like moths around a flame, begging for a flicker of warmth. They compromise their standards. They bend their boundaries. They give everything in the hope of being chosen. But by giving everything, they give away the only thing that could have made them valuable: scarcity. What is scarce is desired. What is abundant is ignored. And most men make themselves abundant, available, predictable. They offer their attention as if it has no cost. They offer their validation as if it were candy. And when she tastes it, it is sweet for a moment, but quickly forgotten. Now picture the man who does not offer himself so freely. The man whose time feels valuable, whose presence feels heavy, whose validation feels rare. That man does not need to shout. He does not need to beg. He does not need to chase. His very existence is enough to make her wonder if she has done enough to keep his attention, and that wondering is what binds her to him. This is why your life, your mission, your standards must come first. If your existence revolves around her, she feels it. She senses that without her, you collapse. And no woman desires to be the reason a man stands or falls. She desires to stand in the orbit of a man who already rises on his own, a man who does not need saving, a man who cannot be moved from his path. You must be that man. You must be the man whose silence carries weight because he is too focused to waste words, the man whose absence is felt because he is too disciplined to linger where he does not choose to be, the man whose validation is rare because he himself does not seek it. That is the masculine polarity that drives her wild, the polarity of independence, the polarity of strength, the polarity of choice. But understand this: independence is not coldness. Detachment is not cruelty. If you treat her with arrogance or contempt, you reveal weakness, because cruelty is just insecurity in disguise. True power is calm. True strength is unshaken. True detachment is not the act of pushing her away. It is the refusal to collapse into need. And when she feels that calm strength, it does something to her. It unsettles her in a way she cannot explain. She begins to invest more. She begins to chase more. She begins to imagine you in the quiet spaces of her mind because she cannot feel certain of you. A woman does not obsess because you are the loudest man in the room. She obsesses because you are the one man who doesn't need to be loud. She obsesses because you leave her with questions instead of answers. She obsesses because she feels your presence even when you are gone. That is why you must master the art of absence. Not absence as punishment, not absence as manipulation, but absence as proof that you are never desperate, proof that your life does not revolve around her, proof that your energy flows where you decide, not where she demands. When she texts you, do not rush. When she tests you, do not react. When she pulls away, do not chase. Each time you show her that her movements do not shake you, she feels your strength. Each time you remain calm where others would collapse, she feels your weight. And that weight creates gravity, and gravity creates obsession. She will test you. Understand this: every woman tests the man she desires. She tests because she needs to know if you are truly grounded or if you will break like the others. When she withholds affection, when she provokes jealousy, when she pulls away, she is asking one question: will you stay centered or will you crumble? If you crumble, she loses respect. If you stay centered, her desire deepens. Because nothing is more intoxicating to a woman than a man who cannot be controlled by her beauty, her games, her moods. Do you see the pattern? Everything comes back to control. She does not want a man she can control. She wants a man who controls himself. She does not want a man she can predict. She wants a man who remains unpredictable without effort. She does not want a man who needs her approval. She wants a man who chooses her only when she aligns with his standards. That is what makes her crave you. That is what makes her feel that being with you is a privilege she cannot afford to lose. And once she feels that, the chase flips. Suddenly she is the one reaching out first. Suddenly she is the one wondering if you are slipping away. Suddenly she is the one who cannot stop thinking of you. Not because you begged for it, not because you forced it, but because you held your ground as a man, and that ground became the place she wanted to stand. You must decide what kind of man you will be: the one who chases endlessly and is forgotten, or the one who stands still and is remembered, the one who gives all and is taken for granted, or the one who gives little but leaves everything heavy with meaning.
Every choice you make communicates something. Every silence, every word, every absence tells her whether you are like the others or whether you are the rare man who cannot be moved. The rare man she cannot ignore. The rare man she cannot control. The rare man she will never forget. That is the man she obsesses over.
The truth you must accept is this: she is not addicted to what you give. She is addicted to what you make her feel. And what makes her feel alive is not comfort. It is not routine. It is not being certain of you. What makes her feel alive is the tension of wanting what she does not fully have, the spark of not knowing what comes next, the hunger born from absence, the thrill of unpredictability. That is the core of female desire, and if you master it, you will never have to chase again. You must understand how rare this makes you. Every day she is surrounded by men who throw themselves at her feet. They flatter her, they compliment her, they give her endless attention. She doesn't even remember their names, because none of it moves her, none of it unsettles her, none of it lingers in her chest after the moment has passed. But when you are the one man who does not fold, who does not need, who does not bend, you separate yourself from the thousands. You become the rare one, and rarity is irresistible. Think of it this way: a gem has value not because it is beautiful, but because it is scarce. Beauty is everywhere. Scarcity is priceless. The same law applies to your energy. If your attention is scattered and abundant, it has no value. If your validation is constant, it has no weight. If your time is given freely, it loses its meaning. But when you are disciplined, when you are selective, when you make her earn each piece of your presence, then suddenly everything you do is amplified. A glance becomes powerful, a word becomes heavy, a touch becomes unforgettable. This is how you turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, by not flooding her with your energy, but by letting each drop fall like fire. Think of your presence as a flame. A small flame in a dark room commands attention, but if you flood the room with light, she stops noticing. Your job is not to drown her in fire. Your job is to let the flame burn steady, to let the darkness remain, to let her imagination stretch into the shadows you leave. That imagination is what keeps her awake at night. That imagination is what makes her crave. That imagination is what makes her obsess. But all of this depends on one thing: your control over yourself. If you cannot control your impulses, she will never feel your strength. If you cannot restrain your desire, she will never feel your depth. If you cannot resist the urge to chase, to prove, to explain, she will never feel the weight of your absence. Discipline is what separates you from the masses. Discipline is what makes your energy magnetic. Discipline is what turns you into the man she cannot stop thinking about. Because obsession is not created by noise, it is created by silence. It is not created by giving. It is created by withholding. It is not created by effort. It is created by presence. And presence is not a technique. Presence is the natural aura of a man who is whole within himself. When you no longer seek her approval, when you no longer fear her rejection, when you no longer collapse under her tests, then you radiate something she cannot find anywhere else. Stability, mystery, calm authority, and that is the energy that pulls her deeper and deeper until she cannot let go. You must also master unpredictability, not in the sense of games or manipulation, but in the sense of living as a man with many layers. One day you are calm, the next playful. One moment you are lighthearted, the next serious. You do not live in one tone. You do not exist as a flat character. You carry depth, you carry contrast, and that contrast keeps her off balance. It keeps her wondering which version of you she will meet tomorrow. And that uncertainty feeds her desire, because she cannot prepare for you, she cannot predict you, she can never fully know you. And here is the final truth, the one that will change everything if you accept it. She does not want to dominate you.
She does not want to control you. She does not want to own you. She wants to feel the weight of a man who cannot be moved, a man who leads with calm strength, a man who knows who he is and does not apologize for it, a man who allows her to enter his world but never collapses into hers. That is the man she obsesses over. That is the man she will never forget. So stop asking how to get her attention. Stop asking how to keep her. Stop asking how to make her stay. Those are the questions of the weak. The only question you should ask is this: am I the man whose presence makes her feel alive? Am I the man who can hold the tension without breaking? Am I the man who lives with so much purpose, so much discipline, so much depth that she feels being near me is a privilege? If the answer is yes, you will never need to chase. She will chase you. She will invest in you. She will obsess over you. And when she does, you will understand what most men never will: that true power in attraction is not about force, but about gravity. Not about effort, but about energy. Not about chasing, but about holding your ground. You are the ground. You are the storm and the calm. You are the mystery she cannot solve, the silence she cannot ignore, the flame she cannot put out. That is the man she craves. That is the man she remembers. That is the man she will never escape. So stop asking how to get her attention. Stop asking how to keep her. Stop asking how to make her stay. Those are the questions of the weak. The only question you should ask is this: am I the man whose presence makes her feel alive? Am I the man who can hold the tension without breaking? Am I the man who lives with so much purpose, so much discipline, so much depth that she feels being near me is a privilege? If the answer is yes, you will never need to chase. She will chase you. She will invest in you. She will obsess over you. And when she does, you will understand what most men never will: that true power in attraction is not about force, but about gravity. Not about effort, but about energy. Not about chasing, but about holding your ground. You are the ground. You are the storm and the calm. You are the mystery she cannot solve, the silence she cannot ignore, the flame she cannot put out. That is the man she craves. That is the man she remembers. That is the man she will never escape. So stop asking how to get her attention. Stop asking how to keep her. Stop asking how to make her stay. Those are the questions of the weak. The only question you should ask is this: am I the man whose presence makes her feel alive? Am I the man who can hold the tension without breaking? Am I the man who lives with so much purpose, so much discipline, so much depth that she feels being near me is a privilege? If the answer is yes, you will never need to chase. She will chase you. She will invest in you. She will obsess over you. And when she does, you will understand what most men never will: that true power in attraction is not about force, but about gravity. Not about effort, but about energy. Not about chasing, but about holding your ground. You are the ground. You are the storm and the calm. You are the mystery she cannot solve, the silence she cannot ignore, the flame she cannot put out. That is the man she craves. That is the man she remembers. That is the man she will never escape. So stop asking how to get her attention. Stop asking how to keep her. Stop asking how to make her stay. Those are the questions of the weak. The only question you should ask is this: am I the man whose presence makes her feel alive? Am I the man who can hold the tension without breaking? Am I the man who lives with so much purpose, so much discipline, so much depth that she feels being near me is a privilege? If the answer is yes, you will never need to chase. She will chase you. She will invest in you. She will obsess over you. And when she does, you will understand what most men never will, that true power in attraction is not about force, but about gravity, not about effort, but about energy, not about chasing, but about holding your ground. You are the ground. You are the storm and the calm. You are the mystery she cannot solve, the silence she cannot ignore, the flame she cannot put out. That is the man she craves. That is the man she remembers. That is the man she will never escape.